Oh, I just realized I got a water and a coffee and a beer all within reach. Probably don't need the coffee. Yes, my name is Carlin and I've got a drinking problem. Mainly I don't have enough places for all my cups. I'm constantly turning the inverter on and off just to save what power I have left, charging the laptop. You know, it's just clunky. Whereas the tablet, I can run it off the USB port, off of the cigarette lighter. The amount of power it uses is infinitesimal compared to what the laptop uses. So, and I just do the writing in a text editor. I'm not doing spell check. I'm not doing formatting. I'm not doing, really anything. I'm not doing fonts. I'm just, I'm green monochrome on black background. Sexy as all hell. Gotta love the classics, man. I got haircut. Oh man, these days. So yeah, adds up after a while. Yeah, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Today was Monday? Is Monday? Still Monday. Frick. So, get up at 4. Get to work before 6:30. Get off at 4, but 4:30 by the time I get out of there. Drive to El Paso. Went, let's see, Tractor Supply first. Got about $250 worth of stuff. Oh, last note. I think I got it on the phone. Tractor Supply had a little garden tractor. You know, they rate it as how wide is the mowing deck, right? 40 inches, I think, or something like that. 17 horsepower, Briggs & Stratton. $1,000, $1,099 for a brand new tractor, right? So I would rather have a used $1,000 ATV with 4-wheel drive, but it's kind of got me thinking, and this was the kind of the point of the exercise is I'm going to keep my eye open, and if I can find a $300, $400 used tractor, that might make more sense, because then I'd have running gear, steering, tires, chassis, and if it doesn't run very good, make it into an electric drive, right? And then just go from there, just figure out how much power do I need, because I mean, if guys are making electric cars on their own that can go 100 miles, all I got to do is half a mile across the property. All right. And the weight of the batteries would be a benefit, and the torque of an electric motor would be awesome. And if I could run it on 48 volts or something like that, 4 deep cycle batteries and you're done. Maybe give it gear reduction so it's got really good torque. Go 5 miles an hour and pull out tree stumps. Or make my own. Just, when you're sitting here spacing off looking at your beer when you should be drinking it, I'm like, okay, I've got an air compressor that I could run off a generator or an inverter. So then I'm like, okay. Yeah, seriously. No, electric garden tractor with an inverter that could run an air compressor. Alright, it's kind of kludge, but that way you could use the parts you already had. Alright. But I was thinking, okay, how could I get a post hole auger out of that? And I'm like, man, a 1/2-inch drive impact like you use for taking wheel lugs off has a pretty good torque, like 100 foot-pounds, right? Or more, because we had to put the torque sticks on to limit them to 100 foot-pounds. Well, 100 foot-pounds, 100 pounds on a foot, especially with impact, would probably turn a 6-inch auger just fine. So I'm like, okay, so you take an auger. Got to get my head around this one a little bit. But if I had an auger and then just weld or otherwise attach a short 6-inch, half-inch drive extension onto it, such that you can then just quick disconnect your impact driver onto the extension, aim it down, hit the trigger, and just start buzzing down. And if you hit a rock, it's an impact driver. I'm like, holy shit. I wonder if that would work. I mean, it should. I don't know. I'm like, oh my god, how can I test something like that on a smaller scale? You know, what I want to do. Where can you find a littler auger that you could try drilling holes in the dirt with? Because my half-inch Bosch drill, 18-volt drill, it's got pretty good torque. If I didn't feed too fast, I wonder if how big of a hole could I drill with that thing? Because I've seen for festival tents, vendor tents, there was a kit where they had ground screws. So these were like tent pegs, but they had a screw 3 or 4 inches in diameter. And then there was an adapter that you hooked into your drill, and you just run these suckers down into the ground, and then they wouldn't pull out, and you put them in pretty deep. And then end of the festival, you just spin them out again instead of pounding them in. I wanted so bad to take those on my Alaska trip. Never really needed them, I don't think. But I just thought it'd be kind of cool to pull out your electric drill and drill these things into the ground. Which means I would have had my electric drill on the trip, which would have taken up more space. Of course, if I can do that, what if I did a 10-to-1 gear reduction off an electric drill? Set it up like a servo, multiple gears to reduce. Run the drill down fast, and this thing would turn let's say maybe 5 or 10 RPM, something like that. Be good enough. Now the thing is, you're not trying to screw it in, you're trying to drill it. So I gotta figure out what's the smallest dirt auger you could find that I could test with the drill. Or could I make one? I don't know how they make those. I mean, it's just say a 2-inch spiral auger. But how do you make that in the first place? Somebody figured it out. Sure doesn't have to be very good for the first one. I wonder if something like fan blades would work, because I'm looking at these case fans. Okay, that's not a good example. I mean, they would just shred, but... Or that grinding face they use on tunnel machines. That's pretty elaborate. Okay, going to bed before I hurt myself.